Hey, friends. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Feeling Saucy with DeAndre and Timon. Hey, brother.
What's good, my brother?
How we doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. What's
Hey.
this now? Episode 6?
Yup.
Episode 6, y'all. Look at this.
Halfway to a dozen.
Halfway to a dozen. Like, seriously, we are.
I mean, we're only going to 10 episodes for this season, but it just
Yeah,
sounded good to say.
it does. It feels right. Maybe there'll be a season where we do a dozen instead of 10.
Exactly,
It's our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're in charge. That's awesome.
So, how you been doing? What are some highs and lows for you over this last week?
Ooh, highs and lows for me over this week. I have to say, I think a high for me is my my strength. I have to say, I feel like this week has been exhausting me day by day.
Mm-hmm.
Just either with like work responsibilities or just not getting enough rest. Um, Also, just like being a friend to some of my friends this week is a little bit more heavier than other weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I never regret that, but I just always feel the weight of like, you know, extending myself.
Yeah.
So uh, it doesn't um, it doesn't take away from anything, but it definitely I just was a little bit more exhausted this week
Yeah.
than usual, and so uh, yeah, that was I would say I guess my low. The high, um, I don't know. There's so many good things. Like I've been writing a lot in my gratitude journal. And so talked about that for the past few episodes. If you have not gotten yourself a gratitude journal, please treat yourself this year to a gratitude journal because it just really highlights so many things to be grateful for that is just happening in your world, in your day, and all around you that you don't even realize is happening until you just stop and pause. And it's nice when you have something to kind of just stop and pause you and like, hey, like what happened today that was good? You're like, let me think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that's right. Something did good happen today. It changes the mood, the vibe. So the gratitude journal's been really nice. Also, I have to say, episode 6 was so good. And like I after recording last week's episode and like going into this new fresh week, I just felt so freaking good because that was a very powerful episode.
Mm-hmm.
And like rewatching it and like sitting back and like from a viewer's perspective and like watching us speak and go deep into that topic and just the nuggets and the fire that was coming out was just like powerful. And that really was kind of a huge highlight for me because it just led me to a space of gratitude.
Oh,
It
that's
led me
good.
to a huge place of gratitude, and I'm just feeling so grateful to be on this journey, to be doing feeling saucy, to have you. I mean, it filled my cup, like
Mm-hmm.
high, and just to see everything kind of just fall together, so beautifully
Yeah.
each week, each time. So that's my high and low right there, brother. Um,
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
yeah,
Sounds like an overall good week.
I think it was a great week. Just I'm a workaholic, so I worked 6 days this week. Took one day to myself. I didn't get much rest and sleep, but that's okay. There's another week for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the holiday season. It's just a busy time of the year. Lots of
Yeah,
movement.
there is.
So, but we got coffee today.
We do. We do.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. What's your high and low? What's going
Mm,
on?
I would say low is working through
Mm.
relationships that are changing. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
um, it's a really good challenge. Challenge my thought process and really open up my heart to more than just myself.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with what we were talking about um, last episode and everything. So I'm really
Mm-hmm.
being more intentional about that.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what we're talking about, you better go back and listen to episode 5 because you better. So just maneuvering, challenging my heart, kind of overcoming it, and it's kind of also a mix of a high, but kind of the low. But if anything, that's the closest to a low. But high, growing, developing, becoming mentally stronger, learning the even more of the appreciation I have for myself. Um, just just so many good things. I work in talking about it a little bit, but I work in property management. I've been working super hard the last several months, and we won Property of the Year, so that was great.
Let's go, baby.
So that was so that felt nice with all the hard work and everything. But we have a really good, solid team, and a lot of it really falls down to how well your team works together, and it's really relationships. A lot of people don't, I feel like, believe that work you're supposed to build relationships, but really, I feel like the strength of your team is how well your team connects together. And I mean, you can connect professionally, but that's the realness is when you're actually connecting on. I mean, obviously, there's depending. You don't want to like
cross boundaries
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy building relationships with people I work with. Some people I build a closer relationship to where it becomes a really good friendship. Some don't, but it's just I feel like the strength of the team comes from how well they communicate and how well they're together. But yeah, highs. There's a lot of highs.
Yeah.
Developing, becoming stronger, winning Property of the Year for 2024.
Got some fresh braids on you. You looking icy,
Ah,
clean, slick.
Pretty Ricky. I got the fresh. I got the fresh braids. Got my hair braided and everything too.
I style.
Yeah.
Stylish.
And honestly, just looking up, going to see family here for Thanksgiving. So spending time with my mom, siblings, things like that. So that's a really good high to look forward to going into. But yeah, it's been a pretty good week overall. But speaking about Thanksgiving, it is Thanksgiving week.
It is.
It is.
And we have a lot to be thankful for.
We do. It's that you should be thankful throughout the year, but especially during this time, you can't help but you got to talk about things that you're grateful for. You know,
gotta talk about it. So this week we're gonna talk about Thanksgiving, and we're gonna dive deep into what our views are on Thanksgiving, how we practice Thanksgiving with our friends and family, and we're just going to just talk about some gratitude and just share things that we're grateful for in our current reality in life and season, but also what we're growing and doing that we're trying to bring into our life. We're going to just talk about how grateful we are for that. That is the power of having faith and manifestation and seeing it before we see it in reality. And so I believe that anything that is ahead of me, if I can see it before I see it, I'll definitely see it. So we're gonna talk about how grateful we are for the things that's to come.
Talking about not just to come, but what we're grateful for today.
Today,
also as well.
Yes,
because it's always important to know what you're grateful for today, and then what you'll be grateful for in the future.
Yeah, but I have a thought, and I had this thought yesterday, and it kind of just recircled back after just saying that little snugget of what we're talking about today. It's funny how Thanksgiving and Christmas falls at the end of the year during the season after summer where the seasons change, it gets more cold, and it becomes a season where people are more in the house. So, especially here in Portland and in Oregon, like it rains a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just a nasty weather season for a lot of people. It's crazy. Like I'm starting to hear a lot of people say that they like this season. Wow. I cannot relate to liking this season, but for some people, this is their favorite season. I'm a sun boy. Like bring on the sun.
Yeah.
And so, but it's just I was thinking this thought. I was like, it's crazy how Thanksgiving is rounded upon, family gathering together and finding or just being thankful.
Yeah.
You know, the purpose is Thanksgiving. We're talking about what we're grateful for, what we're thankful for, and we're spending quality time, and we're linking up with family during that time. Traditionally, and then Christmas is about giving. Like we're shopping and we're buying gifts for other people.
Hmm.
Like and Christmas is my favorite season because it's the moment where the world does the practice of giving. You see the whole world come together, and it's a selfless season where it's not like, oh, I gotta get this, I gotta get that, I gotta do this for me. It's like everyone's thinking of somebody else,
Yeah.
and I love it. I love it. I love it because as a world, especially now in this season of life that we're in, we really got to like link up and build unity and think of each other a lot more than
Hmm.
than just for Christmas, like in Thanksgiving, like. And it's also like what for me personally, like I'm one of those people like I would deal with seasonal depression.
Hmm.
So like the end of the year, it's like it's crazy how these holidays, how it's like it's a moment in each month where it's like, okay, this month we're gonna be thankful, this month we're gonna be givers, and it's a practice that everyone is doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That thought just came to me, and I just wanted to just share that because it just was something that just was just ringing in my head.
It is so interesting too because I never imagined it.
That way.
I never thought about it that way. But it's like everyone enjoys the summer. You're going outside, enjoying the sunshine, getting that good vitamin D.
Yeah.
Happy, positive vibe. And then this time it starts to rain. But I think it comes so well because you get the excitement of summer, and then when summer's starting to mellow down, you're like, oh man. But then it's like right around the corner, there's a day of thankfulness,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps lift you back up.
Yeah.
And so it's like depending on who you are. I mean, like you said, some people enjoy this, but
Yeah.
for those who kind of
Struggle with it.
struggle with it, there's Thanksgiving
Something to
right around the
look up
corner, so
to.
something to look up to.
Yeah.
And then right after that, it's Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
giving. It's a lot of times you don't really think about during Christmas. Not a lot of people think about how much money they're spending towards
Yeah.
people. It's about like, oh, the reaction, the joy you
Yeah.
see that people have. It's about spending time with your loved ones, the people you care about,
Yeah.
and it's nice because it just flows. And right at the end of that, then it's New Year's.
New
So it's
Year's.
like it like motivates you going into the new
Yes.
year on a positive thought process. And
Yeah.
a lot of people do New Year's resolutions. I don't do technically New Year's resolutions.
Oh, yeah, you're not
I
one of
like
those
to
that
just
start a
say
gym membership every year.
no.
In January 1st.
I like to say like this is what I want to accomplish.
Okay.
Um, I guess technically some people will be like, this is the same thing as a New Year's resolution, but I like to look at it as goals. It's the same goals I have at the ending of the year that I have carrying in. I was like, okay, I didn't reach these goals at the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to reach these goals in 2025.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's just carrying on what I didn't accomplish in 2024 into 2025. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I just think it's a really good way to start the year too,
Mm-hmm.
because you also see a lot of people positive. It's 2025. You see all these parties going on and enjoying this, and it's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
It's just, but yeah, what are some things you're thankful for leading up to today?
Oh man, it's funny you say that. Um, Added in the third part of like the New Year's and like that other piece of like something to look forward to.
Yeah,
So a fresh start. It's
yeah,
like okay, like if the year didn't go the way I wanted to, at least January, it's a fresh start. It's a fresh year. It's a fresh mindset. If you allow yourself to think that way, you can experience that feeling and then kind of create that. I guess leading into what I'm thankful for. Um, this year, so funny how this ties together with this story. This year was the first year that I did not go out for New Year's. I chose to bring in New Year's at home, in my room, in my bed, not
hmm
under the bed, but it's like I just was in my bed
yeah,
and I had my journal. I had my pen and paper, and I just wrote down some goals for the new year. And after the switch, then I wrote down, all right, now that it's New Year, this is the things that I want, and this is. I started kind of just like manifesting and like kind of just taken charge of how I bring in the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I prayed, I just like talked to God a little bit. And I did that intentionally because 2023, y'all, for this king right here was rough. Like I went through a lot of up and down and in and
Mm-hmm.
out. My finances took a huge hit. Um, things I felt like I would touch things and they just turned into coal. Like I just like
Right.
I just I didn't think it didn't feel like I was thriving and I just couldn't get by.
Yeah.
And somehow like I would just say like I give it to grace of God. Like I didn't lose anything. I didn't lose my home. I didn't lose my vehicle. Like my bills were paid month by month. Sometimes we had to arrange it to a few weeks after but things worked out, for me. So I didn't lose anything, but it's just like it was a struggle always getting by.
Yeah.
And so I told myself, I said, every year I turn up, I go out, we do the rooftop stuff, we do the champagne, we get lit, we have a good time, or just with family, it's just always something, that we this year I'm gonna just give myself permission to just create the new year that I want for myself. And so I'm grateful that I did that because like as we're entering the end of this year,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking over the scope of this year and I'm seeing like so many blessings, so much of transition. I'm seeing things that I wrote on my vision board. I'm sitting in it and I'm doing it. I'm seeing just a change in the direction and the path that I was on. I'm in a whole new path now. I'm in a whole new direction, and it's only getting better.
That's important. That's so good.
Like I am. I'm really grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing this year I can say I'm grateful for because I talk about it over and over and over again. I talked about it a few episodes ago. Like that pen and paper, y'all, when you write those things down, even if you don't know what you want or have an idea of like anything, make up some shit. Like just write something down. Just like say I want to buy a house in 2 years. Like just make it up. Like because it starts it starts there.
Yeah.
And then like you start those pages become alive and it gets your brain going. And like for me, I just think that I've always been a faith person. I'm like, I'm a kick doors down to make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had that mindset and like to see like my energy and my faith align with reality, it's like it just puts you in a place of just gratitude, you're just thankful, like there's a lot of things that are going wrong, but then there's things that are going right, and like when you
Yeah.
focus on the things that are going right, what happens is the things that are going right start to cancel out the things that are going wrong.
Yeah.
You start to see those things scratch off the list of wrong because you're just feeding the things and the energy and the positive more than the negative. And that starts to have power.
It does. It's so important that you said that because it takes so much. Because if you think about it, life is going to continue happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go and go and go. But it's about what are you going to focus on? Are you just going to dwell on the negative aspects and allow that to hold you back?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just going to delay you from the greatness that you have going on for you, the goals that you're going to reach, and it's hindering you. And it's it's rough. It's a hard thing to get through, but once you can kind of direct going into the gratitude journal and things like that, once you can really learn, it's going back to a couple episodes we were talking about not letting your mind get to you, but letting your heart get to
Yeah.
you. Once you can really take control and allow your heart, as I feel like as long as you're doing everything you can and you're being who you are,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're all human. We all make mistakes. It's about learning, but also there's so much more to life. You can't go back and change the past. Things happen. So you have to look at the positive things, the things you're growing through, things you're trying to accomplish. And it's like if you can focus on that, it's gonna be a lot closer to you and you're gonna make it happen a lot sooner than what you think it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna happen. You can be like, oh man, this is going on, but I want to get this done in this amount of time. and then a little bit of time goes by, and you're like, whoa, I'm already starting to see. I thought that was going to happen like later on, not now. It's just, it's great.
Yeah. And it's like one little small thing that I've noticed too. And we all notice it. And once you hear it, you come like, oh, yep, he's right. You start talking about something like I remember when I wanted to start my business, I started talking about starting a business. I started seeing all these ads and stuff. It's like life starts like opening those opportunities, those doors, those things to start just showing up where it's like the things that you say you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
you start to connect with the next steps to doing them,
Yeah,
you know? So yeah, it's yeah, I'm really grateful today.
I can see it. We can all see it. Like,
Yeah.
you definitely, yeah.
I'm just really grateful. Life is so precious. It has its highs and lows, but when the days are good, you just hug yourself and just soak in it because it's not always good. I mean, I think it's always good, but it doesn't always feel good.
Yeah,
It doesn't always feel good. So, what about you, brother? What are you grateful for?
man, there's a lot to be grateful for.
I mean, I guess we kind of talked about that. What you're grateful for, unless you missed something. Or we could
Yeah,
jump into like our family traditions of Thanksgiving and like how we view
I
Thanksgiving.
don't think I really touched too much. I was more just talking about just like the
Just the
positive.
surface level stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it.
Um, things I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the relationships I have in my life.
Mm,
Grateful for our relationship. Grateful for feeling saucy community.
mm-hmm,
Thank you guys. I'm grateful for you guys being here. Um, grateful for family. I'm grateful I'm building a relationship with God.
mm-hmm,
Um, grateful for the life my direction is going, the fruits that are I'm planting that I'm starting to see sprout. Well, with a little bit of nugget of it popping out of the soil a little bit.
yeah.
Um, I'm just grateful for, just really how we're ending in 2024,
Mm,
really looking back at this year and really realizing what I need to work on, what I need to improve, and also what went right. Um, and also just grateful to use that as leverage to be a better DeAndre for 2025,
mm-hmm,
a more improved DeAndre for 2025. Um, grateful for just really just where I'm at right now. I'm grateful for everything. I'm here breathing. I'm alive. I woke up this morning.
step
I
up.
had food today. I have a roof over my head. A lot of little things.
Mm-hmm,
Um, and there's a lot to be grateful for. I
mm-hmm.
have a car that runs point A, point B. I got a job I'm happy at.
Hey, and you own your car.
Yeah, I own it.
We did that, baby. We did
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Just so
Hey,
you guys know, I paid my car off recently.
this man.
I paid it well in advance. It was supposed to be paid off about, I think I had another year on the car loan.
Yeah.
Um, and I paid it off. Um,
My
I'm
car's
just,
paid off too.
yeah,
Yes.
So it's a lot to be grateful for. It's a good season. It's a good season. I feel like I'm stronger than ever,
Mhm.
and I'm only going to become stronger. So life is good. Life is good.
That's good. So, in the highlight or in the topic of Thanksgiving, um, what were some traditions around Thanksgiving that you and your family would practice? What was some, I don't know, like what would, I guess that's the question. Like, what's tradition that you and your family would practice, and how has that made you view Thanksgiving or practice it? How do
Hmm.
you view it or practice it?
Yeah. I would say so. Family. It's kind of different because green side of my family.
Hmm.
Um, so when I was with them, basically for family for Thanksgiving, we usually have like a family event. Like roll out the tables. You know, Black family, you know,
Yes.
we go out, you got the whole shebang,
Uh-huh.
um, and just enjoying family time is really just being thankful. We sit there, we'd get have good food, cooking all day,
Mm-hmm.
eating all day,
Cooking all day.
um, kids playing kids, adult having the adult time, having drinks. Um, I know we would all sit around at a table together, so we would have like a long. We used to go. I remember Thanksgiving we went to my aunt's, and then she had like a what is that 3, 6, 7, 8, like a 8 to 10 person like table, and we would sit around the table and just eat. And then anybody else who couldn't really fit at the table, we'd all grab chairs and
Mm-hmm.
fit ourselves between at the table. So you know, um,
Squeeze in there.
yep.
Yeah.
And then we'd also all before we ate, we would all pray.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'd stand up and gather around the table. We'd all lock hands, hold hands, and it'd be a good solid like 15 or 20 of us, just in a big old circle.
Mm-hmm.
Someone would lead the prayer, and then we would just, just be grateful, sit in that positivity environment, be thankful for what we have in that room. Family goes on about family, ultimately we're all adults, we have things to go on, but it helped us bring each other back together and just remember where roots came from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I have another side of the family, my biological side of the family, from my biological father's biological dad's side. Um, I've had Thanksgiving with them one time, but it was very similar,
Mm.
same experience.
Okay.
Um, my uncle, he goes all out on the grill and everything over there cooking, and my aunt's over there cooking. They usually like to host it at their house,
Nice.
and we just have a bunch of food, hang out. Um, I'm looking forward to experiencing that more with them and kind of seeing how it is with that side of the family. But so far, it's very similar to the green side of my family. And then my mom's side, whenever I'm spending time with my mom for Thanksgiving
This
for this
year.
year.
Nice.
Um, Usually we keep it low key.
Mm-hmm.
My
Does mom cook?
She does.
Okay.
She'll make um, ham, and then most of the time it's ham. Turkey is kind of a hit or miss, really. Turkey is good, but so many people when they make it, it's kind of dry.
You know?
So it's a little hard to really enjoy turkey. At that point, you got to add some gravy or something on there.
Yeah.
So a lot of times my mom will make like a ham, um, but we'll sit there. My stepdad will be there. He'll invite his childhood best friend over, um, and we'll just sit around the table. Just be like a family dinner. Um, Maybe play some card games together, play some board games together, or just watch movies, or just sit there and chat. Really, just so really Thanksgiving tradition. It's a lot. It's just family time.
Mm-hmm.
Just enjoying the people that are in that room, underneath that roof. Um, Not really thinking about anything else outside of that, because that's where we all come together and kind of not forget, but leave the outside distractions, leave them out. But so really, it's a positivity,
Mm-hmm.
positive, but
It's a positive
environment.
experience and
Yeah,
environment for you and your family.
yeah. Whether it's a few of us or a bunch of us, it's the same exact emotion
Mm-hmm.
every single time, and that's really what it is. It's a room of thankfulness. That's
Good.
I look at Thanksgiving, and that's honestly it's our Thanksgiving tradition.
Yeah. I have to say mine was a lot similar to yours as well. Like growing up as a kid, like especially I'm just thinking of like a little tiny kid, like
Mm-hmm.
3 to 5, like when you start to know what's happening. I always remember like the holidays was like a big deal.
Yeah.
We were so close as a family. There was, moments of dysfunction. But we were together with it. And I just remember, you know, one, I remember my grandmother, my mom's mom, and her sisters, and it was their mom's house on Jessup Street. I'll never forget. And we had so many family dinners there, but especially like Thanksgiving, like that was always the house that we had it at. And I remember just all the food being so good and so flavorful. You know, every event, there's fried chicken.
They're always, yeah.
There's fried chicken, and it's always that who made the chicken, you know, because we know if it's gonna be dank or we know if it's gonna be good, you know, but it's never bad, you know.
Yeah.
It's never bad. And just I just remember those precious moments. Even on dad's side, like it was always either at my uncle aunt's house or it's at grandma's house. You know, when I was younger, my grandma had this beautiful house at the top of the hill, and it's purple, beautiful purple house. Oh, I miss that house so much. Like that was my childhood home. Like grew up in that house. You know,
Hmm.
I think up until about 19 or 20 when she sold it. Um, but yeah, that was the house for all the family gatherings and things like that. And it was similar. We all the kids would get together. They have their places to play. We're in our holiday fits. You know, sometimes there were pictures taken. There were games. You know, the adults were, you know, cracking up. My dad and his brothers, they're like honestly the coolest people to just watch. Like I love watching my dad and his brothers like together, hanging out, laughing, talking about old things from back in the day. Then they get the music going, they start
Oh
singing, and
man, when the music
you know when
starts,
the music starts, and then it's just them oldies, you know, and
even the kids be coming over during. Oh
yeah,
man, yeah,
it's the best. It just fills my cup, you know.
yeah.
It's the best times, you know, and I just love just watching them just be brothers, you know. And so yeah, from each side, you know, even like my mom's dad's side, the Bentleys, you know, and the times that we would have Thanksgivings together, you know,
Hmm.
and I remember, you know, my aunts and whatnot, and they would be cooking, and you just know it's gonna be fire. You know, they start naming things like ham hocks and all this and that.
Oh,
You're like,
oh
whoa! Like, as a
man.
kid, I don't know what this stuff is, but I know it's gonna be good, you know. And yeah, so just growing up, like, you know, and just also like in today's times, like the family has really, just as a society, taken like a huge like hit.
Hmm.
Like we don't meet together, everyone, as we used to. You know, I feel like when we were kids, you know, like it's now like it's a lot of smaller individual family settings, you know.
Yes.
And so, you know, I as I've reached my late teens, early 20s, I started to see the switch.
Hmm.
And it's like it kind of sucks, you know, because it feels like now it's like it's not what it used to be, and like a lot of people dread on like, oh, it's not the same as it used to be, or things aren't the same as they used to be. But also, like I'm loving now as a older adult, like now we're just gonna create new traditions, and what isn't the same, then like let's create it, you know,
Yeah.
let's let's find ways to put things together and make it beautiful. But when I think of Thanksgiving, I think of two things because I got a little bit educated a couple years back. I learned what the American Thanksgiving means, and that kind of was disheartening.
You're gonna have to share once you talk about the Thanksgiving. Then you're gonna have to tell a little bit more, but
Tell a little bit more.
get that idea out that you're saying right now first,
Okay.
so we're all on the same page.
So we're on the same page. All right. So I'll say, you know, for me, you know, Thanksgiving was, like I said, similar to yours. We meet with family, we pray together before we eat a meal, and
Hmm.
it just was just a beautiful time with family. And from what I always knew growing up was that this is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like that's what Thanksgiving is. That's what it means. Like you get the day off from work. It's a holiday where you sit down, we eat a turkey, and we have all the dressing and the stuffings and the mashed potatoes and the rolls and the greens and all these things. And we eat together with family, and we spend family time together. We pray, we say what we're grateful for and what we're thankful for, and then you take a plate home and go home and go to bed. And you
Yeah.
eat Thanksgiving for like a week.
You do, and then that's where you start doing the little mixtures. I wonder how
You know?
that's gonna taste with that and that. Ooh,
Ooh, yep.
let's make a
Ooh.
Thanksgiving sandwich.
Yeah, let's put some mac and cheese on it, you know? Like
Yep.
stuff and mac and cheese, turkey, and then a little bit of gravy on the
Yeah.
sandwich.
But you got to use the rolls for the
Yep.
sandwich bread.
Uh-huh. Yup.
Yup.
Oh my God. Those are
But
some good times.
what were those? You mentioned the
The
American
American.
Thanksgiving. What's the other Thanksgiving? But just find what you learned is American Thanksgiving, and
Hmm.
then what the other Thanksgiving is that you learned. Because I'm sure we're all curious.
Yeah. Now, bear with me because I am not extremely fully knowledgeable, A, and B, educated on the full details of what I'm getting ready to say, but I'm going to give a brief rundown of what I understand. So don't beat me up now, but it's okay. I'll do it for you guys. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So what I understand from the American Thanksgiving is that in America, it's the day where we as families get together,
Hmm.
like minded, like ours, celebrate, have a turkey, and enjoy just this American tradition holiday. Woo! It's a good day. And then what I've learned is that being African American and America, being migrated here, enslaved, this day was a day for the slave owners to celebrate almost like having slaves,
Hmm.
and they would pick this day to almost have like it was like a day where they would line them up and they would figure out which ones they want on their
Auction board.
auction board. You know, it was like a day. It was like, okay, this is the day that we find ones. That's like it's like a discount day. Like, oh, we're gonna get a slave today. We're gonna get a new person. They would go. They would shop for a slave. They would have them lined up, and they would pick through. Oh, he's strong. He could lift this much weight. He could do this. This one could work in the house. This one could cook. This one could do this, and they would buy slaves, and then some people would kill slaves, burn them. Like if there was something a slave did that was disrespectful to the master or whatever that is, it's like that was their punishment day. And so it was a celebrated thing. Okay, we're gonna
That's
bring
crazy.
them, and then they get hanged. Some were burnt, and it was like a celebration. Like woo, yay! And like I said, I am not fully educated, so please like bear with me. Like I just know that I've seen a lot, I've read a lot, and I've watched a lot of videos. And there's other people that can break this down so much better than me. But like when I learned just the actual real reason
Hmm.
behind the holiday, it's like okay, damn, that sucks. The positive though is that I like that as a world, you know, we've changed how we celebrate that day.
Yeah.
I forget what they call it. It's like Pilgrim's Day or something like
See,
that.
I thought it was something pilgrims. I didn't know you were going to talk about
All that
that. I thought it was you were going to say something along the pilgrims. I was like, I think it has something to do with pilgrims, but that's all
pilgrims,
I
yeah,
know.
and then that's another thing too. Is like okay, like I and I say this, and I was going to explain the one of the reasons why I know, but I don't fully like remember is because I block out a lot of stuff,
Hmm.
like things that just don't serve me any purpose. You know, sometimes I just block it out.
Hmm.
So it's like even I did learn about these things, but some stuff like it's like I remember, but I don't fully like I can't just break it all down just like straight off the bat because like some stuff is like that sucks
Yeah.
or that's shitty, you know. And it's like I try not to hold space in my brain for things that just don't help tie today, if that makes sense. And
No,
to
it
some
does.
people, they may be like, "Oh, that's ignorant," you know. But for me, it helps me have a positive mindset.
But it's a different. People may see that's ignorant. It's difference between not holding on to it
Yeah,
rather than allowing it to bring you down. Because you can hold on. You can. Did I say that right?
yeah, I think you did. Like you can hold on to the knowledge
Yeah.
without it bringing you down.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's not forgetting
Yeah.
and moving just act like that never existed,
Right.
because that's ignorant. It's just
Yeah.
moving on, acting like that never happened ever.
Yeah.
But it's about using that as food. Like, okay, well, this is something bad, but I'm not going to let it determine who I am or what I'm doing today. It's still there, but you're not letting it control you.
Exactly. And like that's me. Like I know certain things are part of history, and especially as a black man, I should know just maybe a little bit more about certain things. Like, but some stuff is just so jacked up that like I'm an empath. I feel things deeply. I can't just like learn something that's terrible and then just be like, okay, well now I have this knowledge, so now I'm gonna move differently. You know, like for me, it's like when I gain the knowledge, I'm like, how based on how bad it is, I'm like that messes me up.
Yeah.
Like and especially because I know that there's a lot of things that I can't do about it. I can't change it, and even when I'm dead and gone, like these things are still gonna be messed up and still happening.
It's still happening to this day.
So right. So like, how can I make today good?
And
then I just live and breathe in that space. So
no, that's good.
that's
though.
enough explaining. Getting exhausted.
I think it's good though. I think it's important for us to know where holidays, like the root of how it began.
Yeah.
Because you have to know where it began in order to make a difference, and in order to rewrite the holiday for what it is. It's not. It goes back to what I just said. Not holding on to what the holiday is, but let's change the holiday. Let's make it more positive for everybody.
Right.
Shoot, when you start going racing, that's a whole another topic.
And like I said, I'm treading lightly. I'm treading.
But no, I think it is important to know though where roots of holidays come from. It really is. And just remembering that, and because we can use it as a tool to make it more positive and more welcoming.
Exactly.
And I mean, we are making a difference. Us living each day, we'll sit there and we're celebrating the holiday. We might not think we're making a difference, but you're choosing to celebrate it in a different way than what it originally started.
Oh, absolutely. We changed the value of it.
Yeah. And the way you're doing that, everybody else in that same room, you're feeding off of each other's vibe. And so you're making a difference to multiple people, even if it's what the tradition is. But then after Thanksgiving, you know, when you leave and you go on about your adult life, go to work, you know, everyone's like, oh, how was Thanksgiving? Oh man, did this, this, and this. You're rewriting it to somebody else who wasn't in that room.
Yeah.
And then they bring a smile to their face. And then you ask them, how was your Thanksgiving? And then they bring a different perspective, how their experience was. And right there, you're already spreading the word of how Thanksgiving, and then you get the mindset of how Thanksgiving should be celebrated, or just any holiday. So we are changing the world, if you really think about it.
Oh, absolutely.
It may not be like a Martin Luther King where you're doing a big old like speech and everything.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes you got to do it one person at a time, and then just let it reflect off of them, reflect, and then eventually, because you told one person, several people are feeding off of that, because you brought joy to one person, and that person brings joy to another 2 people, and then they bring joy to another 10 people.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good. But I just think it's important. Yeah, it's really important just to know like where it comes from. I do want to dive deeper into that, though.
I do too. Like after like talking about it, I'm like, I definitely don't want to talk about it again. The way I just talked about it. But I didn't think we were gonna get that deep. You know, like we kind of just jumped right into it. But I mean, for those out there, just educate yourself. Let's all learn together. But you know, I mentioned it because my purpose for where I was going with this is that growing up, like it was never taught, hey, this is how we celebrate Thanksgiving, and this is why. Like no one ever took that space and said, hey, like we're gonna talk about what Thanksgiving really means, and now we're gonna practice what we created to be. It was just like I just grew up just like, but like this is just what it is, you know. So when I found out what that day really was and what it meant,
Mm-hmm.
it destroyed me, you know, because I was like, it was just like another thing that was just disappointing about this country,
Yeah.
you know, and I didn't know that until I found out, you know, and so
But I
that's
think, sorry, I didn't mean to
oh
interrupt.
no 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 go ahead.
I think growing up in the society that we had and
Hmm.
where we're at today, it's important to know. I mean,
It
a lot of
is.
people will probably
Hmm.
say, "Well, being a kid, you shouldn't know all that, or you shouldn't be told." But you need to know. As painful as it is, sometimes you need to know the pain that it caused.
They say that, but in elementary school, they're telling us that Christopher Columbus discovered America. So you gonna lie to us?
Yeah, there's so much more than just Christopher Columbus sailing over here.
Good
But
God! Don't tell y'all the truth, but give them a good lie. That's good. That's good.
but that's where you
Oh
create the difference. Is
yeah.
difference is, I mean, this is just from my
No.
experience. I'm
Yes.
speaking from my experience.
Yeah.
The difference is made when you start learning about things at an early age. I mean, I'm not saying go and tell your 5-year-old
Hmm.
all this, like obviously.
Right.
But once they start hitting to where they actually like you, they can sit down and you can really like engage and talk. You know, it's gonna be a different age for each kid. You don't have to go super deep, but just plant a little seed in there.
Yeah.
Just and then you'll really know, like, okay, if they're gonna ask more questions, okay, let's talk a little bit more about it. But
Mm.
if they don't, then you know, okay, it's a little too early. But it's about just because they need to know that, you know,
Hmm.
they live here, and I think it's preparing kids because ultimately you're raising
The
your kid,
village.
and the way you raise them
Mhm.
is going to determine how they are when they're growing up. So do you want? I mean, I'm coming from a person who doesn't have kids,
Mhm.
but if I had kids, this is just how I would go about it personally. This is how I was raised.
Mhm.
Um, it's just knowing that, or you learn it, and then like learn. Lost my train of thought. I'm getting it back. Okay, so like being taught that, and then so when it does happen, you're not so like, oh, got it. Sorry, I'm trying to catch my thoughts
No,
back
you're
right now. I'm
good.
trying to catch them back. Um, because the way you're raising your kid, you're ultimately growing them into the man or the woman that they're going to
Yeah.
be. And if you're going to hold information back from them, it can honestly hurt them
It's a
if you think about it.
disservice.
Yeah, it is because then they're going to go about certain ways that maybe ultimately they learn it hard way because they
Mhm.
weren't aware of it.
Mhm.
So they put themselves in a situation that they probably should have thought of before they put themselves in that situation.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like I said, you don't gotta blab out everything,
Mhm.
but just plant little seeds
Yeah.
and then walk with them. And when they come to you and share a little bit more, ultimately, you know your own kids. You know how much in depth you can. I mean, if you can go and just say, "Hey, this is how it was," be straightforward with them, then do it.
Mhm.
But that's gonna favor them so much further. Even if it does hurt, pain is temporarily.
Mhm.
Pain isn't long term. If it is long term, then you're doing it to yourself.
Mhm.
It's
And
and
I feel
we
like
just
that's a huge topic right there.
it is, and it's just topics that aren't talked about, and people avoid a lot of those topics, but it's so important. And I'm speaking from my personal experience, so like the racism and stuff, like I didn't really know. I knew it existed,
Mhm.
but I never really truly thought about it until I
Mhm.
went through it,
Mhm.
and it hurt so much,
Mhm.
but I had to learn. But it's just I just felt like, especially when you don't experience. I mean, I grew up in California.
Mhm.
California is most ethnic people. It's, I mean, depending where you grow up, I'm sure in
Mhm.
California, but where I grew up, it was
Right.
mostly black people and mostly Mexicans. That was
Yeah.
the majority of the culture. So, I didn't have my first friend who was white until high school.
Mhm.
But then when I moved there, then I started learning about it. And I'm like, damn, I've heard about it,
Yeah.
but this shit's real.
Yeah.
And I experienced. So it's just, it's good to know about these at a young age so you can be more self-aware and you can be paying more attention to what's going on in your surroundings. Is really what I'm saying. Not to
Yeah.
go too deep into that conversation because that is a topic,
It's a topic. It is a topic.
but
And I think that's one that maybe we could, revisit, because like I have a lot of thoughts around it. But I don't want to go too deep into it because we're on a Thanksgiving topic.
yeah,
But like, that whole like teaching kids thing, it doesn't. Oh, here we go.
yeah,
I'm trying not to go because I can. Whoo, I could go all the way deep into that because like we are once kids, now adults, and now even though we don't have kids, we still are teaching the village of kids that are around us.
hmm
Any kid that is around you in your life, that is an opportunity for you to plant a nugget into them, and to leave something that they can say, Uncle DeAndre showed me this, or he taught me this, or he informed me on this. Like those things are so important. Like I try to do that with my nieces and nephews, especially with their like emotional reactions. I always try to like, hey, you're crying and you're fussing, but like let's get to the root of the crying and the fussing. Why are you upset?
yeah,
You know? Like it's not that big of a deal, truthfully. Like or hey, like it's okay. Like you're upset. Just take a minute, cool down. Let's not scream and yell. Let's not yell at mom. Like let's tone it on down.
yeah,
Those little things I try to do that because like when you're a parent, it's overwhelming. Especially when you have multiple kids, it's very overwhelming to try to attend to every single one. So like having being the blessed uncle that just gets to come and just be here for these special moments. Like I can take the load off the parents, and then I can dive deep into like personal. Like, hey, I see you. What's up? How can I help?
yeah.
It and I had an uncle, I'm wearing his ring right now. Bless him, he's gone. But like he was that, like he was the one that he just knew how to just come in the room and hold it down, like and uh so like and when I think of now this role that I have, like I always try to do things in honor of him and also like in the way that he impacted me, I try to do that too, make that same impact in my new nieces and nephews' lives. But leaning back, it's Thanksgiving. Sorry,
How are you doing on time? Also, just so we're
that's a good
aware.
question. Um, I think we're doing okay.
Okay.
I think we got about probably like a good 15 minutes
Okay.
on us.
So we're gonna steer this back, just like you were saying. Let's bring it back to Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
gratitude, being grateful.
All right, let's
Um,
go.
what between trying to think, I want to phrase. 'Cause I want us to think positive. I want us to be more end this on a positive note.
Yeah. So
What
we talked about talking about what our experiences was with
That's right.
Thanksgiving, what we learned as families, and in our families, and then we talked about practicing Thanksgiving, ending on a practice of like what we're thankful for, either to come in our future or what we're doing to like bring things into our life that isn't here yet, but like we're gonna practice that manifestation part.
hmm
So like,
I have a question. A very simple question.
ooh, let's go.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Ooh.
Everyone's got their favorite. Everyone always asks this question. What is your, what's the one Thanksgiving food that you just, when Thanksgiving happens, all the meals are laid out. And there
Yeah.
ain't no putting food away right after the dinner because
Mm-mm.
everyone goes back. So what is that one or two items that you always,
Always circle back
come
to.
trickling back over to?
It's three of them because I eat them all together. Like they're three individual things, but like I kind of get them together and I enjoy them together. It's definitely the turkey. Because turkey's like something that's like we don't eat a turkey, throughout the year like that. Like you eat a turkey sandwich here and there and stuff like that. But like
Yeah.
it's not the turkey. It's got to be bomb. It's got to be juicy. You better do it right because we get it one time. So definitely the turkey, especially like now since these past like 4 years, we've been deep frying that thing.
Oh my God. Deep fried turkey is great.
Are you kidding me?
Smoked turkey is good too.
Smoked turkey is good.
But but
deep fried.
fried.
I'll take it.
The
Deep fried my
unison.
turkey.
Let that tell you guys how good that.
Yep. And then pull it up. Yes. Yes. Deep fry my turkey. So definitely that. I love me some stuffing. And I love me some gravy.
Okay.
I like some homemade gravy. My grandma Judy, oh my God. She made the gravy last year, and like she was standing over the stovetop, with what's that whipping thing, like
The wisp.
the wisp. Yeah, she was just wisping it, and I was like, I'm just talking to her. Like I love moments like that, where you just get to talk. I'm like, so yeah, yeah. She's telling me the history of like how her, mom and told her certain things. So
You're getting
yeah,
some good conversations though around
yeah.
those times though.
Hmm.
Holidays when you're hanging out. I always like to do that whenever like Thanksgiving was going on. Whoever was cooking, I like
Yeah.
to spend time with them.
Uh-huh.
That's where you get those conversations, and
Uh-huh.
those are like my grandma. We would have like going back to what you're saying with Thanksgiving, like my
Yeah.
grandma's house. That would be another spot for Thanksgiving where you'd sit there and everyone would eat. Adults, kids,
Yeah.
doing their own thing, go outside. We had a yard, so kids are running around even in the dark, so it was fenced in, so you didn't have to worry about anyone getting out. Everybody knew better
Okay.
and just enjoying. This was in Southern California,
Hmm.
but I used to always like being in the kitchen and just talking, just taking my grandma's brain,
Yeah.
just asking her like her experiences and like what she views and why she cooks and why the way she cooks the way it's just learning that side of the history. My grandma's from down south,
Ooh.
so she's from Louisiana.
Okay.
So
They eat rabbits over there.
they, yeah, that's
That's just
they
something I heard. I don't
they're
know.
wouldn't surprise me, but they just come from just a different breed, and there's just so much
Hmm.
wisdom there because also down south is so much far behind. But
Yeah.
without trying to go back to that conversation because we just let off of that conversation, just you get so much good quality conversations.
Hmm.
I was the kid that was talking to adults all the time. I'd
Mm.
occasionally go play with the kids, and I'd backtrack and go back with the adults, and then also the person cooking. They're always cooking.
Hmm.
Everyone forgets about the person who's cooking or the people who are cooking. So they want to talk. They're over there
Yeah.
busy trying to get everything together. Give them some love.
Yeah.
You know
Spread that love.
exactly.
So,
I
what's
think,
your favorite Thanksgiving meal
man,
or dish
dish.
or item?
It's so I. Oh gosh. I never liked stuffing a whole lot unless it was like homemade a certain way. So, my favorite. Ooh, that is a good call. I like the mashed potatoes and gravy.
Okay.
Um, and that's what I go back to.
Oh,
So what I
that's
like
the
to
seconds
do,
for you.
yeah, it is. But it's not just mashed potatoes and gravy. I like to grab, the dinner rolls.
Okay.
Um, so you grab the rolls and you put some mashed potatoes on there, and then you
Ooh.
sprinkle it with some gravy. Or you got it open and you put a little bit of homemade cranberry sauce on it, and
Okay.
then you close it and you make it like a cranberry gravy mashed potato sandwich. Oh
Boy, you
gosh,
look.
man! It don't even got to be the sweet. I don't even do the sweet roll. Do you just put those combinations together?
Yeah.
Ooh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I definitely think the cranberry sauce part is a white thing in most
Really?
households. I do. I mean, I like in my so I not a lot of people do the cranberry sauce
I grew up in black family.
in the black family.
White family,
Y'all did the cranberry
there was
sauce a lot.
always cranberry sauce, but yeah, there was always cranberry
And like
sauce.
I was at a Friendsgiving not so long ago. My white friends love them, and like they put cranberries in the stuffing. And I was like, okay, this must be.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Like you haven't seen it?
No,
Okay, because I've only seen it in the White Houses.
I haven't seen.
They do the raisins and the cranberries and the stuffing. But I will say, for the first time ever, this Friendsgiving, I actually like didn't mind the cranberries, the dried cranberries in the stuffing. I think my friend just did a good job with it.
Yeah,
But like it's like like so like it definitely was a culture difference for me, but it was also something that was new and I enjoyed it. I liked it. I was like, wow, like this is actually really good. You know? Especially
yeah.
with the dinner roll, like I could like mix that with that a little bit of gravy, and like kind of
It's
have like a sweet good time with it.
it
Like
is. You can use if you want. You can use the Hawaiian rolls. You want to use
Yeah,
that if you want the
always.
little sweet taste
Okay,
to it.
so
But
the cranberry sauce, do you guys use the one in the can and then like you pour it
no,
out? So you guys make the cranberry sauce?
yeah.
Huh.
Well,
Black people, do you guys use cranberry sauce on Thanksgiving? I'm so I, I'm just I don't recall like having cranberry sauce on the table. So I always thought it was like,
I've
a white traditional thing,
I've
in the white
learned
family houses.
I've learned in white family houses it's a little bit more common to use the canned
Okay.
cranberry sauce, but when I was like my black family, it was always homemade cranberry sauce.
Okay.
But
And what is it for? Like, do you put it on the mashed potatoes? Like, what's the purpose of the actual cranberry sauce? Like, what do we do with it? I know some people like to
some you
do it with
can
their
just
turkey.
you can put it with the turkey. You can just eat it by yourself. By
Okay.
itself,
It's just a dish.
you can put it on the roll. It's um just like as if you put like butter or jelly on a roll. You can just
Right.
spread it on a roll and eat it
Right.
that way.
Okay.
Make a sandwich out of it.
Yeah.
I think it's used more of like a topping to add to something else.
Oh.
Um,
Now, I have seen before someone put it on stuffing.
sure, people do that. I never did that, but I'm really picky with my stuffing.
Yeah, me too. I like my gravy. I like my gravy on the stuffing.
That sounds pretty. I bet
But
that was good.
yeah. But every now and then, like a little mac and cheese, poke the mac and then poke the stuffing. Oh my God, so good. Y'all,
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
I was about to say you're making me hungry. I'm ready for that meal right now.
Like, dude, I'm ready to eat. Okay, like,
But
well, okay.
it's
So
probably
should we wrap it up?
yeah. I was about to say we should probably start wrapping it up.
Okay, so let's end it on Thanksgiving. On a Thanksgiving note, I want to say I'm. We talked about what we're thankful for. I want to say I'm thankful for what's happening. I'm thankful for being on. I have to come back to this. I'm thankful for feeling saucy. Um, I'm thankful that we are in the end space now of season one, but I'm thankful that we already know that we're gonna do this again for another season, and we already have some things lined up, and we got some stuff lined up, and I'm really excited about what's to come for our podcast going forward. On a personal level, I'm grateful that the beginning of this year, I'm gonna have an annual review, and let's just say he might make a little bit more money. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm grateful for that. I'm just grateful for like the person that I am becoming at the end of this year. Like I wrote down some stuff at the beginning of this year that I wanted for myself, and at the end of this year, I'm starting to see those. It's like those seeds that I planted in January. Now in November, I'm starting to see the sprout
Yeah.
come from the ground of and that person is in me. I'm starting to see that person rise and grow and continue to grow. And so I'm grateful to continue to see personal development and growth within myself. Also, I found a new level of confidence, which is kind of cool because I always felt like I was a bold person,
Mm-hmm.
but I think boldness and confidence is two different things. I think bold is okay. In that moment, I was bold.
Yeah.
I think confidence is something that you carry with you everywhere you go. And I'm starting to feel and see and experience more of that. And yeah, it's just something to be really grateful for. And there's a lot of other things that are the to come for me that I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful for. But um, just to highlight a couple, like these are some things I'm really grateful for, and I'm excited to see. And I'm excited that we're in a season where life is getting better for us
Yeah.
in our personal life, in our finances, in our relationships, in our health, in our wealth, and in our spiritual walk. Like we're growing,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful for that. Stay
That was
tuned. There's
great.
more to come.
That
What
was
about you,
great.
bro?
Yeah, I'm just grateful to just be alive, sitting in this chair right here,
Yeah.
talking with you.
Mhm.
Grateful for our friends, feeling saucy friends.
Mhm.
Um, just grateful to just go through this. I'm grateful for the struggling times I've gone through this year. I'm grateful for the learning experience. I'm grateful for the positive times I've gone through
Mhm.
this year. I'm grateful for just where my direction, where I can see all of my hard work that I've been working at. I can see it starting to catch up. It's like that little snowball where you just gently tap and it starts slowly rolling, but the more it rolls, the more snow it packs up and the larger it gets. It's all that momentum, taking all the momentum with you. And I'm grateful to finish this 2024 year stronger than ever. Finish this year as strong as possible. Chest lifted up, head held high, continuing to develop, going into next year, 2025, even better. Next year, I'm be 30 in February, so it's a whole new 10 years for me.
Yeah.
So just going into it with just wisdom and just better put together, and just a more, not better put together, just a stronger person,
Yeah.
a more bold and confident person.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful for the future, but also enjoying all of my hard work that got me to where I'm at today. So yeah, that's really how I want to leave it. I'm grateful for just everything.
Yeah, I like that. I embody that. I'm enjoying all of the hard work that got me where I am today.
You can never forget that.
You can never forget that.
You can have a vision and everything, but you just had a bunch of hard work you're trying to work at a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, a year ago. You're not the same person you were today that you were a year ago. A year ago, you were talking about how you want to do this, this, and this. Now look where you're at today. And if you're not right there today, it's okay. You can start today.
Yeah.
So, because you're starting today, you're already in a different spot than you were when you first talked about it, because you're
just like that,
cutting off that line.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Transition from saying to doing. I mean, just from episode 1 to episode 6, I look the same, but I'm not the same.
No.
My life has definitely changed. It's 6 weeks of doing this.
It is. It's crazy. Oh my gosh, it's funny you say that, because I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying that we get growth timing for growth. I'll stop right here and then we can wrap it up.
Okay. I'm loving this. Let's go.
But
it's our podcast. We can do what we want.
the time. Oh man. Okay. So he said the time of growth. We label a specific time on growth. So for example, I want to be this person in 6 months. But what you're doing is you're limiting yourself because you're setting a certain goal point. So you're like, I can do this, this, and this in 6 months. But you just said you've grown in the last
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
So you can turn that 6 months into 6 weeks. But because we grow and we limit ourselves to a 6 month period, it limits us. So we hold each other back. So it's not exactly how he said it, but he basically said that we put a timeline on growth. And you can grow so much more in 6 months than you ever have in the last year. You can grow in the next 7 days than you ever have in the last 5 years. But it's making sure you don't put that limitation on you and making sure you do everything you can for that day. Every single day, walk out your house, in your house. It starts within your house. Keep your head held high, chest held high. Look at yourself in the mirror and just tell yourself you're a champion. You're bold. You're confident. Do the affirmation. Do what you need to do. But make sure you're just doing everything you can each day. And as long as you're doing your best each day, you will grow a lot further in the next few weeks than you ever thought you could. That could take months.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just don't limit yourself on growth.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't put a timeline on growth.
Yeah.
Just be your best version of you every single day, and everything else will play out.
Yeah. And practice gratitude.
Yep. I heard gratitude journals are very important. It didn't come from you. I've heard that from a few other people too, just over the last few days, people talking about gratitude journals.
Oh, really? You've been hearing that more?
I know a few people. Yeah, I've been hearing it more. So it's a real thing. I was like, maybe I should do a gratitude journal, to be honest with you.
Maybe I should do a gratitude.
Actually, not maybe I should.
Let's go on Amazon and order you a gratitude journal.
Not maybe I should. I am going to do a gratitude journal.
Come on, my guy. Let's go. Ching.
All right. With that,
With that, we just want to say happy Thanksgiving to you, to your family.
yo,
We hope this year is another year of joy. And hope that you get to just surround yourself with people that love you and that you love back. And hopefully you can say, you know what? I may not have everything I want, but I have everything I need. I'm grateful for that because that's what it's all about. And just spreading the love, spreading the joy, and finding ways to be happy.
Yeah.
Find ways to be happy.
enjoy your time with your family, or just it doesn't have to be just family. There's people who are close to you, regardless, and just go into it with a positive mindset and just think of the grateful things, even if it's one thing or if it's several things. Only you know, but truly look at the more bigger picture of gratefulness and just remember there's something to be grateful for because you're here listening. You're in this You're in this conversation right now.
Right here.
You're breathing. You have an electronic device in front of you to where you can engage with us.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something to be grateful for. You just have to be willing to look for it. But keep your head held high. Finish this year strong because you guys are all champs. We're all champions.
Yay.
So
be present. Be present.
Yeah.
Just be in the space. You know?
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, friends.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. We'll see you next week. We got some cool stuff coming up. So stay tuned. If you're loving us, give us a like, a shout out. You know,
leave some comments, engage
some comments with us. Yeah, most definitely. All right, you guys. Till next week. Feeling saucy. We're out. Dude, this coffee was fire.